Thames barrier is 520 metres wide and links Woolwich to Newham. It took a staggering 10 years to build and is a monumental structure. It highlights two things. One, the concern the UK government has over storm surges up the Thames estuary, and two, the significance of London economically.
We put 10 very large steel gates right across the river and stop the incoming tide. Effectively, we're stopping the tide coming in and creating a reservoir upstream of the barrier. We know sea level rise is happening, but that was built into the design criteria, so we've already got an allowance for that. Everything wears out, everything gets older, and therefore at some point there will be Thames Barrier 2, but that's going to be a long way off. At least 2070 and probably beyond that before another barrier is required. There's a flexible plan for the whole of the Thames estuary going forwards to 2100 that's adaptable depending on what happens to sea level rise. There are many flood barriers all around the world.
And have those barriers around the world, or our barrier, been raised more or less often, decade on decade?
Well, the barrier, it was always expected, would be used more. So we are using the barrier here more. Other barriers have been, again, built with a factor of safety and sometimes very rarely reached their closure thresholds, so perhaps hadn't been used as much as our barrier here.
The Thames barrier is really important and very efficient at keeping out storm surges. When we look at the Office for National Statistics and you study labour productivity, the nominal gross value added for London is 32% above the national average for productivity. It is a really important economic area. So it appears that London is something of an exception. And with increasing climate change, it's clear that the 21st century will need a second Thames barrier.